Hey class, and I hope that you are enjoying learning about scripting and writing programs that will really make your Unity programs just do great things. Um, in this lecture, we're going to talk about something else that's really important. They call variables. Without variables, you can't do things like keep score, figure out how many lives you have, and things of that nature. And so variables is a very important part of the game programming process. So what exactly is a variable? I know you studied them perhaps in geometry or algebra or whatever math you've taken. For computer programming, a variable is a named space in the computer's memory, and I should have a apostrophe there. I apologize. It's a symbol that represents data, either numbers, characters, names, or letters. There are different types of variables, and we call them data types. So when we start to talk about a variable, remember we got to use the term data types. Okay, so there's several different types of data types. I'm not going to cover all of them right now. We're going to cover some of them. Int is probably the most common, and it's used to hold just regular numbers like 9, 10, -7. Then we have double, which allows us to use decimal numbers. Okay, and with the data type, you have to use the right number. You can't use a decimal number in an int data type. What that will do, it will actually drop off that portion and just call it 5. Then there's Boolean, which is true and false, true or false. We have characters such as letters A, 3, Z, and then we have string for names like Alex or football. Okay, so those are some data types there. Now, naming variables, and this should be an example. I'm talking about naming variables later on. But we're going to write a simple program that's going to declare two variables of data type int, and we're going to name them A and B. And then we're going to assign values to those variables. A will have the value of 5, and B will have the value of 3. And then we're going to go ahead and write out the value to the screen. And what this is going to do is going to actually take those two um, variables, add their values, and print that out to the screen. Now, so we're going to be doing some arithmetic. And again, this is very important to programming, especially game programming. And we're going to cover some of these, of course, plus, subtraction, addition there, multiplication, division, and modulus. And this is a different one. This is new. We'll cover that later on too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So launch Visual Studio, get into Visual Studio, create a new program. Again, you're going to click on Visual C. Okay, could be doing C Sharp. I'm sorry, Visual C Sharp. Those are that's the programming language for Unity. And it's going to take us time to configure it. Here we are. So what I want you to do, you're going to go ahead and we're going to declare two variables, A and B, data type int. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and assign values to those variables. So A is 5 and B is equal to 3, just as we did in the example. Now I want to go ahead and print that out to the screen. Dot right. Okay, and then all we need to do is place the variables in there, because remember they're holding the values of 5 and 3. And remember to keep the window from closing. We're going to type in the read console command. Console dot read key. And this will pause the window, the console window, so you can see what happens. So let's go ahead and run the program. Okay, there it is, 8. All right, so let's go ahead and change this a little bit so that we can understand what we're doing. So let's go ahead and type in here system dot console dot write, um, and we're not going to do right line, we're just going to do right here, and we're going to go ahead and place this string or phrase in there, the sum, not sum of 8 plus 5 is, and let's terminate that properly. Let's go ahead and run that again. There it is, the sum of 8 plus, I'm sorry, 8 plus 5. I made a mistake there. It should be 3 plus 5. Go ahead and run that. There it is, the sum of 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and submit that to me and make sure that you do this. And I want you to start documenting your programs with comments. They're called comments. This is called a multi-line comment. You're going to type your name in there. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and type the date. So today's date is February the 2nd, Groundhog's Day. That's my dad's birthday, by the way. And he is no longer with us, but he was born on February the 2nd. Okay, and so you're going to submit that to me, and remember how to do that. If you don't remember, you can refer to the previous lecture on C#. Okay, guys, I hope you are enjoyed that. Pay attention to this because this is going to really add that functionality to your Unity programs and really allow you to do great things. Like, again, I said keep score, how many lives you have, and things of that nature. So without variables, you can't do much. Okay, so make sure you get that to me. Okay, bye.